The Family of Light by Barbara Marciniak. Chapter 11. The Gods Stashed Their Stuff. In the Book of Earth, the section of existence where you currently find yourself in the weaving of the lines of time, is in need of a vision based on a collective purpose for humankind. A vision where significant living is recognized and pursued. This task may seem overwhelming if your focus is totally immersed in linear time in the 3D and chasing the money beast. However, time, as we have suggested, can be approached backward, forward, and sideways, as well as from within and without, and is all based on energy and frequency. Right now, your civilization is located on a thin slice of time that is pulsating with an exquisite frequency potential. As we share our stories and tales of trials and tribulations and triumphs, no doubt you are reconsidering who you are, what you have lived and chosen to experience, and what you have embraced or have avoided. Ideally, you are considering your own potentialities that manifest with marvelous originality in the opulent flow of unpredictabilities, which hold a purpose connected with all of existence. As you reflect on your life, rest at ease, knowing that everything you encounter within your own tales is for a purpose. And to what purpose can it be, you may ask? And how can there be something right in front of me and I not be able to see it, you might also ask? The answer is frequency modulation, as well as your intent and expectations and presumptions about what you call reality. Within the great ages of your cosmic calendar, the tests are the same. And the testees are you, returning again and again to manage one of the most difficult frequencies in existence, the third dimensional perspective. And as 3D reality becomes more and more topsy-turvy, and chaos becomes the new rule over the land, it is time for the vision you create to take root. Unity take root. Remember, thought is the vehicle through which you will learn how to fly, and you must fly through the heart chakra. In order for you to gain the best of experience, the highest of probabilities, and the most original of new creations, you all must play your part, for we cannot build your new world for you. Nobody else can. You are in a coalescing phase now, deciding what your vision for the future will be. And this is imperative as you build the bridge and then traverse it, walking into a new slice of time, a new millennium in your terms, and opening a new age the Age of Aquarius in your terms, of experience on the grand calendar of existence. As you proceed step by step and hand in hand, allow yourselves to have a greater definition of the future as we inspire you to recreate your creations. Remember, our vision is not yours. However, we do see the possibility of you building a solid foundation from which you will reach a peak experience of human living. You have, metaphorically speaking, been to the top of the mountain and now realize that it is a very big world. In fact, an endless cosmos. And yet, your timing, your calendars, your watches, your seconds, each one that ticks by, and ones yet to come, are very significant. Each small second. And each second can be sliced like a piece of fruit or cheese, and you will learn that as much exists inside the slice of time you may call a nanosecond as exists outside of it. The tiniest fraction of existence can hold the wonder of all things if you learn how to locate the code, the key, and the frequency from which to experience it. Everything exists inside of everything else, and you are destined to comprehend this and experience it. The journey from the heavy 3D density to the great lightness that is now commonly called 5D is unpredictable, yet incredibly rewarding. And that is the reason why 8 billion souls have reincarnated here and now. Your point of existence in time is now a nest, a home of pure intent, comparable to a vein of gold many miles wide, a phenomenon that perhaps would cause you to reappraise the value of gold. What if a massive vein of gold actually existed, but only for a little while, and then slowly disappeared? How would humans treat a 50-mile wide vein of gold running the length of South America? Would gold still be valuable? Or would some of you hoard it? Or would you build fences with armed guards? Or even keep it a secret if you could? We use this example as a metaphor for the fleeting moment in which you live. This mythical nanosecond of 50 years from 1987 to 2037, where you are all so privileged to live, to achieve, and to create with awesome unpredictability whatever you want. Events of this nature have their chapters in the grand book of existence. Yet the book is not made up of chapter after chapter of these kinds of opportunities. They are very rare. Time, as we said, is relative, distinct to location and frequency. But then frequency is location. And as we have suggested, in the address right next to yours, a slice of a nanosecond away, a parallel world exists. One that you have been seeking to discover and explore for diverse reasons. Some of you seek to explore this mysterious world of dragons and lizards because you deeply relate to the subject. And even though these tales are told as myth and fairy tale, you secretly hope that they are real because you can feel it. Some of you are quite comfortable with these recollections, while others are ill at ease because although your feelings may seem unfounded, insane, or ridiculous, you actually remember something in your DNA. Rest assured, dear souls, that however you relate to these old mythologies, the tales from your ancestors' experience runs rich in your blood. So relax and enjoy. In the vision of the world you can enter, and we particularly say can enter because you have many options. The fleeting moment appears to be cordoned off. Ideally, this is for your own protection. When you are cordoned off, it is indeed a difficult test, for then you are on your own, uninfluenced. Perhaps in this period, even the moon shall disappear from the sky, or other orbs of light will be born there. The story is different for every chapter in the Book of Existence on how the golden nuggets, as places of immense richness and opportunity for awareness, evolve. All of this is still being studied. As humans, you are very much enamored with your powerful telescopes, using them to look farther and farther out into space, and even observing how universes are born. Many of you are fascinated with this phenomenon and that of black holes. Yet the mythical nanosecond, the fleeting moment in which you live, is far more exquisite than the birth even of a universe, because a so-called mustard seed in existence is changing all of the other seeds in existence. Your universe is reseeding itself through a small portion of itself, which was held intact just in case its own existence might be threatened by shifts and changes of cosmic weather, or drought, or pestilence, or separation and disconnection from the grandness of its own plan. In case that ever occurred, a plan within a plan within a plan within a plan within a plan was tucked away so that nothing would ever be lost. On the multi-dimensional internet of existence, there are many, many files and websites. Innumerable games and codes and master numbers you can't even imagine can be utilized to gather an extensive view of multiple realities in order to become participants within these realities, not merely button pushers sitting in front of a screen. The purpose of becoming a participant is to experience a new way of living by redialing and rearranging frequencies, and understanding that the part cannot be separated from the whole, and that the whole is offering a glimpse of itself to a very remote and sequestered vein of gold. You, silly. If a vein of gold 50 miles wide and the length of South America really existed, then certainly there would be plenty of gold for everyone. However, a few would say, why would we give everyone plenty when we can have it all? And then the matter of who would own the vein of gold and what to do with it would have to be fought over. Perhaps some people would suggest that the real value would be in keeping the vein intact, rather than chipping it away into small sections. Or maybe building hotels nearby and offering tours. And sure, selling off little chips, marketing the vein in whichever way possible. Imagine that part of your existence. Boop. Imagine this part of your existence. Imagine that this fleeting nanosecond of your existence, this 50-year period, is like that vein of gold, enormously rich and vast. Even so, in the Book of Earth, and in the enormously bigger Book of Existence, it is not easily found because existence itself is so vast, and considering all time, the Book of Earth is very hefty indeed. Each existing book of experience holds stories that weave patterns like a web from one book to another. Suppose we were to show you the Book of Earth and you said, we only have 5 minutes. What can we see in just a quick glance? In order for you to comprehend its complexity, we would show you an exquisite tapestry, a weaving of colossal proportions, for then you could perhaps understand the importance of each thread of each life. We offer this vista for your consideration and suggest you make it one of your cornerstones when you build your vision for the future. It is essential for you to hold on to the vision of the future, for you live in the home of intent. A place where many beings would be thrilled to exist and influence you, while others would kick and scream to the other end of existence to avoid being there. Remember, cosmic legends speak of you humans as being curiously tucked away in a very dense dimension, in a thin slice of time, in a certain location of frequency, in a galactic spiral of the Milky Way, in what you call the 21st century and the advent of the Age of Aquarius. For many celestial beings, this would be unthinkable. But not for you. You have chosen to be here at this profoundly important time, because this is a profoundly important time. A time when you are learning that everything is connected. And us showing you the Book of Earth in this capacity allows you to see the foundation of richness from which you spring forth. The threads of gold and of light and darkness and diamonds and earthly bodies, woven together to tell such a lavish and true tale of your divine sovereignty as humans to create by default or by decree the vision of your own future, the vision you are forming, which is a result of your understanding that power is energy, and energy is freely yours to use as a tool for responsible living into this next cosmic age of experience. The legends are full of your impending victory, but you must hold a vision of the highest vibration in your mind, understanding that it is the sum total of who you are, one united humanity that allows you to be linked up as a global community and the cosmic family. We look in the big book of existence and see how others have accomplished a similar task in other star systems so far away, in other timelines, unimaginably long before yours, and many that have yet to occur. For this particular subject is studied fervently by us multidimensionals, just as you study the skies with your telescopes, searching for stars to be born and supernovas and comets appearing. Your scientists investigate celestial phenomena, looking to find the once-in-a-lifetime event, unaware that where you are and what you live is the most spectacular event of all. You are truly unique, and yet you are connected to everything. However, it is highly unusual that a place so common in a seemingly small and insignificant corner of the universe should suddenly become the focal point of all of existence. As you now leap off of the springboard of 2012 and into the Age of Aquarius, even more of existence will be abuzz about you humans. Where is that planet Earth? Is this really happening, they may say. The legends have said that Earth is awakening. And you may wonder, how can this be that Earth herself will awaken? Perhaps you will see yourselves becoming time jumpers and interstellar travelers, fulfilling your destiny by journeying into all of existence. Reassured that you have birthed your vision with the frequency of unconditional love. That is certainly a potential vision for you to consider. We also remind you that you are the Creator. We ask you therefore to create with compassion with originality and with courage, and to use that great geyser of energy that flows through you for the force of positive change. Remember, augmenting this process of change is a natural unfolding and increasing of your psychic abilities, which will link you to multidimensional experiences that may appear at times to be like bizarre snips of movies. Do not be frightened, dear ones. Yet learn to be discerning and assess the situation no matter what you see in front of you or behind your closed eyes. In addition to the encoding in the heavens that occurs as modulations of light, as stars move by and planets move by, modulations of sound are also to be considered, some of which are audible and some are not. As we touch down in the cities of your world, we feel that the sound of chaos abounds, and as you become more psychically sensitive and in tune, you will probably avoid these sounds. And until then, you may not understand the attack that is occurring. The DNA in your biological structure and the multidimensional DNA that connects you to your expanding identity that you might call 12-strand DNA, all exist to unfold within you just as the seed of a plant or a flower is designed to follow its pattern of evolution. The seed does not have to ponder over the availability of energy to complete its cycle. And nor do you. Every seed holds a blueprint, and with the proper energetic requirements, it is destined to fulfill its purpose and grow and then produce more seeds. Each seed experiences the initial struggles of splitting and casting away its casing, and then shooting upward through the soil, and then bearing the elements of the sun and the wind and the rain, as well as the scorching heat on some days, floods on others, and infestations of insatiable insects. This is all part of the experience of growth. It is all natural, normal, and crucial. When the plant blossoms, it experiences its own aspect of sexuality and produces its flowers, exquisite in their uniqueness, which herald the greatness of the fruits to come, as well as exuding a delicious fragrance. The plants freely give their fruits so that you can live. And this is an interesting thought for your reflection. Who put those plants here on this planet? Do you like fruit? So delicious. Your DNA coding is layered in such a way that you, dear soul, will naturally unfold and evolve. And if you desire to bring forth or enhance the fullness of your own DNA evolution, then we suggest you deal with the drama of your life and daily give thanks for the delicious food you have, and for all of the people who are part of your life, and for the people who donated the DNA from which you spring forth. Embracing your existence with the attitude of gratitude and unconditional love for yourself and your parents seeds your frequency into the ethers, and this in itself seeds the earth, building her future. So many souls have turned their backs on their families. We see so many who have abandoned their bloodlines. No matter how justified it seems, they have often missed the greatest opportunities that their souls chose to attempt to heal in their current lifetime, which also relates to their past lives, because you are here to heal your ancestral lines through your DNA. Remembering that your soul may or may not have been a part of this ancestral DNA line all the way along. You may have popped into the DNA line once in a while. A few kicks of the can, as it were. Pass the baton, as it were. But we promise you this: your soul chose your parents very carefully this time around for you to heal yourself and your ancestral line once and for all. In the Book of Earth, this lesson has been repeated again and again when people shun what they do not like or what they judge and find too difficult or too fearful to deal with. In your world, great clusters of people have avoided doing the most difficult and most important tasks again and again out of fear. Your specific future goals are for you to decide, and we do remind you that exquisite possibilities exist. You are genius. You can use the creative genius that is inbuilt in you to really integrate living with one another on this earth purposefully. You must do this to move forward and upward in vibration. So we ask you, why do you wake up every day? To do what? What is the purpose of your existence? Reflect on this thought for a moment without condemnation or judgment or applause for yourself because of your present successes. Because whatever situation you are now in, it will change. The season of change is upon you, and wherever this change may take you, it is most important that you have laid the foundation in the home of your intent as a personal vision to have human unity, a common unity, a loving human community. You may feel confronted once again with the same old dilemma of the evolving genetic experiment. When will one of you look up at the sky, realizing that you have been looking at the ground all this time? Now is the time, as we see it. We see that soon all of you will most certainly look up. Rest assured that what you are seeing is layered as a preparation for the new phases of human evolution. After all, the tomato plant does not grow 3 or 4 inches and then declare, "I do not know what to do now." In a crisis, of course, a plant may die, but hardly ever do all plants die. In general, a built-in fortitude allows the plant to live through the drought or bend with the strong winds, to stand straight in the great heat of the afternoon sun, and send the roots down to dig a little deeper to absorb more water. That is your encoding. Some of you worry that you do not have the stamina to survive, so you spend enormous amounts of money and time worrying and rushing out to be fixed and healed and remade by others. Yet all the potions, the magic, and the wizardry in the world can hardly accelerate the encoding that is naturally unfolding in you if you would just give up your dramas. It is only the shadow ego that is holding you back. You are sovereign divinity, and you chose this time to reincarnate so that you could embody the actuality of your sacred, holy, and divine self. Do not fret. Do not judge. Do not beat yourself up if you have been running around in circles of late, looking for what you think is needed for this next phase. Just slow down, stop, and breathe. You are safe, you are loved, you are sacred, holy, and divine. Rest and relax and lay to rest your quivering and shaking. You cannot fail. It is time for you to understand the power of your mind, the individual mind that you seem to think you only have, the community-minded thoughts you engage in, the global mind that has begun to be engaged, and the cosmic mind that enwraps everything in existence. And it is time for you to realize that your own personal unfoldment has been long awaited, just as you await the sunrise or the moonrise or Venus peeking out from over the horizon to reassure you in your world that the heavens move in an orderly fashion, even though too many of you ridicule or completely ignore the divine meaning in the heavenly order. No matter what your logical mind tells you, the movement of the heavens humbles even the most arrogant of humans if they truly understood. And if you are not awed by the movement of the heavens, then you are a fool indeed, like the emperor with no clothes, self-entrenched and self-enamored in self-delusion. However, do not judge. That's just a temporary hideaway. Whether the chosen role is the emperor with no clothes or the homeless person with no clothes, it's all just a temporary game for the shadow ego. Such is the nature of the test of your lives, to discover what is truth, what is real, what is love. In the vision of unity, of human community, of love you are building for yourselves, it would suit you to imagine that the changes and innovations and the unfolding and evolution of who you are will be experienced in such astounding measures that it will seem as if you will live in your terms many, many more years than you actually do. Multiple lifetimes of experience may be encountered in a few weeks, because the more you learn, so much more gets pieced together and offered to you. And then your threads will begin to weave their own tapestry. If we could show you for 5 minutes the tapestry of Earth before the finish of this mythical nanosecond, it might seem small indeed. However, it grows in size and significance because, as you unfold, you will connect with multi-dimensional timelines, and then you will understand simultaneous lives. Oh, great, you're saying. That's a good one. Simultaneous timelines. How am I going to manage simultaneous timelines when I'm having so much difficulty managing my life right now? Once again, dear soul, drop the ego. This unfoldment is encoded in your body if you would just, like the plants, unconditionally trust the process. The immense flood of cosmic energy that moves through your body wants to enliven you and connect you to the others, but no amount of cosmic energy can do so unless you relax your body for this to happen. This heightened flow of energy will restore and enhance you, as well as maybe make you feel jittery and nervous or wired as fuck, as if you just stuck your finger into an electrical socket. Woo! The choice is yours. It can also make you feel very heavy, where just the thought of getting out of bed and moving to the bathroom seems impossible. You can respond to these cosmic energetic flows by using your will to direct the energy where you desire, and by acknowledging how you feel and where you are at in this process of your life, and by knowing that sometimes you can stick your finger in the electrical socket, and sometimes it feels like you're pushing boulders up the hill. Identify that both of these periods are important, and neither one is better than the other. Experience these periods and do not judge yourself for being whomever you are at that time. You are dealing with complex and profound energies, cosmic and earthly energies. Energies that you produce and project as frequency broadcasters, as well as energies that you invariably absorb from around you. All of those sounds, even the inaudible ones, the microwaves, the light that you can and cannot see, the high and low frequency electronics, all of these modulate your own frequencies of your DNA. One of your visions for the future certainly can be to create a utopian existence where the family of light and the family of dark harmonize, where all are allowed to exist and yet all are respected, where rules are not broken because they are co-created and agreed upon, and where a unity within diversity exists. If you can achieve that heightened vibration on Earth, it would be a valuable and priceless creation in the chronicles of time for all of existence. If you can create that heightened vibration, it would act as a signaling frequency, a broadcast to the omniverse. This would also necessitate creating the harmony between your sun, earth, and moon. Your satellite that has been placed there to modulate you. Some of you are insulted by the idea of anything influencing or controlling you having been put there without your consultation. When you make such a discovery, you want to send off a missile to destroy it. But when you discover the true majesty of the moon, you will feel such gratitude. If you happened to be living in another slice of time, in another age, as another aspect of one of your past lives, then you would not need to know all this information right now. You couldn't, in fact. In past lifetimes, it was impossible to achieve such an understanding because of the cosmic weather, the cosmic age, the sociological frequencies and mass consciousness, and the rate at which your genetic experiment had evolved to at that time. So imagine how you would feel right now if someone plunked you down into a laboratory and said, "Here's a tomato plant and a lily. Now, use the two plants as inspiration to design and create your own plant. Go!" What if all of humankind had to pass that test in order to qualify for the next stage of being? Create a whole new life just out of some ideas of existing lives. How would you go about creating a whole new plant? This is just something to consider, to imagine. When you contemplate the future, do you envision that you will eventually terminate at some point? Or do you reach that mysterious place of immortality? Whatever your ideas or aspirations, we can guarantee you this: the future will be different than what you can possibly imagine. It always is. Whether you live forever or die and be reborn again and again, you will always encounter other versions of yourself. You see, you seed the future and create it as your children and grandchildren, your ancestors of the future. You have forgotten this great teaching, that the part cannot be separated from the whole, that you return again and again. You can never die. So carry that vision into your future. This is part of your very strong foundation for creation. And speaking of creativity, it is the specialty of your ancestors, the ancient elders, the legendary lizards and dragons, and the reptilians, or at least it was, or it has been, a creative specialty of theirs, or maybe it's something that has yet to have occurred, but regardless, everything is actually simultaneous, so it depends on which book, which frequency, and which now you are using as your perspective to view the experiment. Master geneticists, designers of solar systems, and designers of galaxies, as well as designers of universes, all have creativity in common. If it was reputed that a birth was to take place in the heavens, and you were a curious modern person in the 21st century, you might view the occurrence on TV and say, "Oh, look, balls of light bursting forth," never imagining that you were watching the beginning of a designed and engineered project brought into form by the legendary lizards and dragons. And wouldn't you be surprised to find that you were actually watching the creation of your universe? Myriad multidimensional entities view the earth as well, waiting because you too will be creating, either intentionally or unintentionally. Ideally, with all of the cosmic energies showering upon you now, the signals and signs, the symbols and the feelings, the impulses, the imaginings, and the groundswell of intuitive knowledge that cannot be stopped you will read the winds of change and trust your feelings and consciously allow yourselves to co-evolve. Beings and entities who have visited you and with whom you have been enamored can sit back over their expansive time spans, and they can plan universes and smaller galaxies and little tiny solar systems because they understand the creation principle. The recipe includes a little bit of sound, a lot of imagining, unconditional trust, cosmic will, sacred intention, plus a pinch of purpose and a plan, and a few more ingredients they have kept secret from even us. However, at one point, there are no more secrets, so don't worry, dear soul. Your DNA is multidimensional and is encoded to weave itself together to access the same knowledge, as if all of the water in every stream, every lake, and every ocean on Earth were suddenly compelled to connect with all of the water in creation. You, too, are individual forms of uniqueness, yet you are still part of the whole that you are learning how to navigate, seeing for yourselves that what you do here directly affects everything everywhere. The dramas and the challenges that you have been collectively playing out here on this little planet ripple outwards across time, particularly to the legendary lizards and dragons, because they have been watching and awaiting your solutions. In their ability to create on a cosmic level, they can sometimes become lost in their own creation, thinking that they could create all of the universe's worlds, planets, and satellites, and asteroids, and that they could ride around existence, changing and monitoring their own territory. And so your ancestors, part of them, became lost to themselves. They lost their purpose in living, just as many of you have with your electronic gadgets. Many legends on your planet are full of cosmic visitations, and perhaps the wars that other crusaders and celestial visitors encountered when they discovered Earth as time jumpers. Earth is indeed a cosmic treasure, and it has been visited again and again. And now, at this fleeting moment in time, many beings are here, and others wish they could be. However, a very specific frequency is required to enter. The more you rarefy your frequency, the more you will only attract specific energies. Be wise in your choices, for fools are at hand, as is always the case at any juncture of change. Snake oil salesmen and cosmic charlatans abound, and some are impeccably designed to deceive. You will see this parade of fools because the frequencies require that you be connected, for this is not a time of solitude. If you find yourself feeling alone and without a friend, then make the intention to meet a new, purposeful friend. And in the next few days, that will happen. But do not put any kind of preconceived requirements around this purpose of friendship. Allow it to unfold. It may last a week or a month or a lifetime. The great creative force of existence will often leave gifts disguised in brown paper bags or wrapped up in an old newspaper and tied with a snip of shoelace or a bit of worn old cloth. Often you would pass those up for a finely polished person who will stab you in the back. And you would miss the opportunity to build a bridge outside of your own preconceived notions, to link up with a sacred soul you may have passed by in the past. The importance and sacred divinity of each human being and their effect on the whole of creation needs to be acknowledged, and this inner standing is encoded in your DNA. As we have said, the inner standing of genetics has already made a tremendous leap in the last 150 years, although it is not common knowledge, actually. Far too many scientific discoveries have been kept from the public, but they will be disclosed in rapid succession in the coming years. Many of you will be astounded at how quickly you have to readjust after learning these new ideas. If these ideas had naturally been released as each occurred, your lives would be very different, and you would not have to expand now from a tightly compressed state into such a wide open existence. You would have been more gently prepared, so that when the full vista of your lives became apparent, you already had a peek at the vastness of the landscape. However, everything is perfect every single time, and this process could have been designed to slowly open your awareness, but now it's like you have been slowly pulled backwards with an elastic band, and you will slingshot into a new reality. As a species, you do have the capacity to accelerate beyond anything you can imagine, to absorb the sudden shock of opening, to seeing through your limited belief systems, having to reconsider again and again a bigger and bigger picture every year, every month, and every day. As we have said, it seems like you are living hundreds of lifetimes in this one lifetime, and indeed you are. Although what you learn in the coming years may appear to be from the 21st century, it's really a compilation of all knowledge from your ancestors and quite a bit from the future. The advent of December 21st, 2012, and the consciousness of 2013, which includes the Mayan 1320 consciousness of the 26,000 year precession of the equinoxes, was a doorway to, yes, the Age of Aquarius, but oh, so much more. Now you have seen you are holding a paintbrush, and a vast canvas of possibilities exists, unpredictable, unprecedented, and of great profundity. This is the vein of gold we have asked you to consider, and the question remains: what will you do with that gold? Will it be an abundant resource to share with all of humanity? Or will some of you turn it into a cosmic tourist show? Please consider, what are your celestial visitors going to think? Do they approach this vein of gold that you are as a sacred site? Or will they set up their own franchise to convince you of the magic of their products and sell you your own fortune back to you with strange ideas and new addictions? It is up to you to decide what to allow and what to create, for you are, after all, that vein of cosmic gold. What are your intentions? How do you want to be viewed and experienced by the legendary lizards? Other cosmic legends speak of renowned feats of humanity with a total restructuring, reorganizing, re-intention, and re-experiencing of the third dimensional reality to transcend it and move into the 5D reality. And these legends tell of the rise of human spirit that achieved the impossible. These legends say you will reinvent everything through your own powers of intent, your will, and unconditional love to create a global human family. In the blink of an eye, it is through the reassurance, the unconditional love, the unconditional forgiveness, and the unconditional trust that gives you internal support that you have to support one another, that you will create this in your finest hour, the 13th hour, the hour of mystery, the hour that does not exist, the unknown, multidimensional hour. Perhaps your greatest task in this moment is merely to trust. As you know, only you can make trust. Only you can make yourself real. So turn off the shadow ego chatter. Turn off the distractions of the outside world. Turn off all the fear. Turn off all the doubt. Turn off all the electronic equipment. Go outside and listen to the symphonies of nature and look up at the heavens to seek and understand the power that exists within you. Respond to nature with your own sounds, humming, chanting, singing, drumming, dancing, your own melody, your own tone of intent, sending into the ethers what you want and celebrating from the ethers what you honor. You should know by now that sound is not only a tool of creation. Creation is sound and light. But you do not yet recognize how powerful a tool sound actually is. Each syllable that you speak, each vibration and tonality has a different potential. In your vision of the future, perhaps you will imagine a new type of music that enlightens all who hear it with special sounds and special words and healing songs that you can remember and you can share and you can pass along. Songs of connection, songs of exquisite wonder, songs of divine living, and songs of sacred sexuality, with codes of meaning to strengthen the tapestry that all humanity actually is. When you think of that tapestry and when you can see it rippling and unfolding in front of you, recall it as a fleeting glance, as a portion of the book of Earth in this legendary nanosecond of time. See if you can imagine a time in the chronicles of existence where the great reptiles, the legendary lizards and dragons exist in cohabitation with you again. A time when you are not being pillaged or raped or conquered, or a time where you are not ignoring them or running away and hiding in fear. But imagine a slice of time that shows you the potential of combining your skills and working together with your creators as the cosmic co-creators that you actually are. The legendary lizard mind is an exquisite creator after all. And in the grand book of existence, and even in the little book of earth. Many tales tell of their deeds. As you seek to know yourself, go back to the most primordial source, the original creators, the most ambiguous, hidden, ancient elders, existing in what appears as a non-existent slice of time, a nanosecond, a dimension that cannot be seen, and yet it is there, in between your nanoseconds, that place tucked away in the voids of time, but certainly full of landscapes and richness. This is where your legendary lizards and dragons and reptilian creators dwell. They are now offering you a frequency, as if they were suddenly on the radio with their own show, a frequency they feel you can now feel. They want you to remember them as magnificent creatures and allies, not as beasts to fear, but rather as friends who taught you to fly on their backs and who flew you from one place to another, who were at your beck and call because to them you were so magnificent they simply adored you. They loved your abilities and your cleverness, your splendid beingness, the way in which you moved your hands, the way in which your flesh ripples on your body, the way in which your muscles pump and jump. They could not help but fall in love with you, and this they know you have forgotten. And so, on their radio show, on this new frequency you can feel, please, in your generosity, reconsider them, reimagine them, remember them while looking back into the book of earth and allowing a little bit more of their reality to seep into your awareness for a second. Are you aware? Can you feel it? Maybe a little later for a minute or two if you focus and go within and feel the serpent in your spine, and in so doing a little bit of your feeling of this new reality seeps into their feeling of this reality, as is always the way. They have something more to give you. They offer a vision of inspiration as a modeling species of intelligence, where different biological creatures are a result of each other's abilities to co-create, taking all of their talents and building something unique from them. You have records of this occurring from when the great reptiles walked the earth with humans. You have been told that the great reptiles disappeared 65 million years ago, but we ask you to reconsider their extinction. For surely you see there are many great reptiles alive today. You have to learn to shift the dial of your belief. Take off those goggles you've been forced to wear and look with your inner sight. Perhaps you will one day travel to the end of the world, and even though it is round, you will find a way to fall off and perish in some never-never land of nonsense because you simply could not take off the goggles that you thought you were forced to wear. So we ask you, dear friends, dear brethren, to skip that egotistical tendency to go screaming and wailing into times of chaos. Relax and be serenely graceful and develop a sense of humor, why don't you? Hold on to your vision of working together towards a world of purpose, yes. Hand in hand, skip to my loo, tra-la-la, ha-ha-ha. Imagine that your genius is now being birthed, that it was coded and timed all along, and it must occur. Imagining this brings energy into form and allows you to live in a new way for the unfolding of the coding when you follow what excites you in an honorable way, and when you connect with other humans who are following what excites them honorably, you have this new kind of smile and a new meaning to eye contact and simply standing up for yourselves, understanding that peace, love, unity, and respect is the answer. Purposeful, clear living allows those who understand the cosmic laws to be the co-creators of their reality. Understand that focus, will, and intent directed by those who know is the most powerful force in the universe. The clamoring, arguing shadow egos who harass and challenge you have no clue about these laws, and that is fine. As a creator of your own experience, you must ask, why are you choosing this reality? What lesson in living do you need to learn right now? It appears to us in the Book of Earth and in the grand Book of Existence that everything is an experiment. Even the legendary lizards and dragons are part of an experiment. So do not think that you have been slighted or gypped because you have been created by reptilians. Do not resent your makers. They are the experiment too. It is time for unconditional love, unconditional forgiveness, unconditional trust, and unconditional gratitude. The reptiles who have been calling to you to remember a creative kinship with them can also show you a mental picture of a time on your planet 13,000 years ago, when your sun was halfway around the great precession of the equinoxes, in a time that you may call the Age of Leo. That period, during the end of what you call Atlantis, is precisely the opposite to where you are now poised in this cosmic calendar. So you are very much connected and are relearning some of the failed lessons from that time. In your vision of the future, remember the failures of Atlantis and their sudden, shocking, and surprising demise. And know that you are being challenged with the same lessons. What outcome will you create this time? A soul repeats an experience to learn the lesson in a different way, not to create the same outcome again and again. Surely you can feel the cosmic wisdom in this. And ideally, when one learns the lesson as an individual, and then as a community, and then as a world, and then as a solar system, and then as a galaxy, everything changes in the omniverse. Surely you can feel that your own personal ego dramas must not continue. Whether it's the same old pattern you feel you've been forced into, that is just an illusion, and it was fine for a time, and now let it go. The time of divide and conquer and separation and fear is no longer appropriate. That's all. Again, dear soul, trust your own biology. Trust the rays of the sun, your loving, 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 loving Father, the sun. Trust the comets. Trust the planets, trust the stars, trust the wind and the water and the fires and the floods. Trust them. They are all coded and purposefully planned, just as much as a tiny seed breaks its shell and sprouts. Yes, of course, you should send positive energy to all souls who are experiencing traumatic situations, such as we are doing to you right now. But above and beyond this, you must trust that everything is perfect every single time. This vision is imperative. It has room for all experiences, room for all people, young and old, all colors and all species, to undergo their own evolution. In this age, you will discover that you are all sacred, holy, and divine, 8 billion godlings. What will you do with your creation? It is the weaving of these cosmic threads that now concerns you and the rest of us too. What are you doing? Everyone wants their own thread to be part of the tapestry. And goodness gracious, who is going to design the pattern so it's not a big tangled mess? Maybe you can hear it now. All of the egotistical artisans bickering in the back room as if they were working for a royal family. commissioned to portend some great event, gathering all of the weavers, the spinners, and designers together, yet no one can quite agree because everyone thinks they are the master that must have the most recognition. Shadow ego, shadow ego, shadow ego. This has happened before, and unless you transcend it now, but hold on to all of these visions of cosmic potential, especially the vision that the legendary lizards have been sending you about what's inside your body, and also about the Atlantis, and also about the plight of the Atlanteans. See if you can time travel through your own mind to these places of knowing and growing. If you can, open up to the venue of simultaneous living, you will change to become more of who you actually are. Yet the change will not entail dropping of your identity now, or altering who you are now. It's about integrating and blossoming and bringing out hidden facets and connecting deeper with your family and deeper with your friends and deeper with your community, because everything is connected. This awareness will change reality and allow room for simultaneous living to be in your consciousness as the multidimensional reality of it is built into your biology. As we have said, you are more magnificent than any computer could ever be designed. And the designs of technology inside your DNA exceed the most radical and revolutionary of discoveries. And as new quantum technologies are discovered and revealed, whether or not they are reverse engineered or brought to you by extraterrestrials, understand that they are mirroring the encoding that exists within yourselves, peeling back layer upon layer and bringing to the surface your inner abilities for healing, living together, and co-creation. In your imagination, hold the vista of your future world, your future family, and your global human community with which you want to be joined. Send the image of this both inward and outward at this moment, knowing that it will pass everywhere, and draw to it its own likelihood, and that this imaginary vibration is actually real, and it will vibrate off of the earth and into the earth, and the earth will reflect this signal and beam it outward in all directions. No technology could supersede this process, because no technology can supersede the greatness of your own biological spirituality. So, dear souls, trust unconditionally this process and allow it to unfold. And by all means, feel free to participate. Majesty is yours. Feel connected to all around you and co-create the ultimate human community where you are. So proud to be graciously connected to all of existence.